Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be doing some Sinister Cup practice against Richie. Richie is one of the top players in the entire world. Season 1 ace ranked trainer, one of the very few ace ranked trainers in the London UK region area. And speaking of London UK, they are going to be hosting a gigantic tournament on October 26th at 1:30 p.m. Let me just pull up the details here at the London Academy of Excellence at Lily White House, 780 High Road. I'll include links to the tournament, links to Richie's Twitter. Definitely give him a follow because you'll see how amazing of a player he is. There's currently 233 people registered for this tournament. They're looking to exceed 257, which is the 9-round threshold. So if you're in London or in UK or in Europe or love to travel and want to battle against the very best, this is an excellent tournament. Some of the top players in all of Europe are going to be showing up to this tournament, so I would definitely check it out. Links in the description. Let's go ahead and get started in this battle. I'm using Claydol, Alolan Marowak, Poliwrath, Steelix, Alolan Raichu, and Dusclops, as suggested by Luke Skydragon. I think his Twitter handle is Luke Skybuilder. So I lead off with Claydol because Claydol has a pretty good matchup against his team, except for against Drifblim. So he totally read me and predicted me. I am not in a great situation at all, and I really don't have a good answer to his team. And it's actually a pretty poorly constructed team on my side. So I like Dusclops. It's a pretty safe switch, in my opinion, the safest switch in the game when they don't have a Bastion or Probopass, because if they have one of the tanks, then it's really bad news. Fire Punch is the only reason why it's a pretty more effective matchup than because it's able to hit Fire Punch against the Steelix and do quite a bit of damage. I'm hoping to take him out, and he ends up just fading me down. So not in a great situation at all. I'm going to have to eat a crunch, maybe two. And I haven't used Claydol a lot in this tournament, in this format, so I really don't know how much damage I could take. I probably should not have shielded in this situation because I probably could have survived, and I really need that. I really need shields for Alolan Raichu. And I switch out, and he could easily Shadow Ball me here, but he decides to save it for Claydol later. And I don't get the shield, and then I get way too greedy, and then I end up getting Bone Clubbed. Really dumb mistake on my part. I could have got a shield. It wouldn't have made a difference. My mistake was, it really stemmed from shielding that crunch, because I probably could have survived, and then I would immediately switch out, and then hopefully I can beat it backhand, but he ends up outpicking me and outplaying me, so well played there. I think we go to like 7 games, but we have some like glitches along the way, so I think we go like 6 games, I think. So anyways, let's take a look at match number 2. And I go Steelix, and what do I go in the middle? Poliwrath, probably? Poliwrath. I need to get rid of the opposing team's Steelix, so we'll see how we do. So I come with, and he totally predicts me. I'm in a terrible situation, and then I'm going to come in Dusclops, and I have the Hex version, which is a much better matchup against Medicham. And I go Fire Punch, and Fire Punch again. And I'm hoping to win, like KO him, and be in a pretty decent situation. I end up going for a Shadow Punch, thinking he's going to shield, similar to what he did last time, but nope, he read me like a book. If I would have Fire Punch, I definitely would have KO'd, so left me in a not so great situation. And I end up just farming him down, and then I'm going to Shadow Punch whatever comes in, because besides Steelix, everything else on his team is Shadow Punch would be the better move. And I switch out to Poliwrath. And I have Mudshot, Power Up Punch, and Hydro Pump on this version of Poliwrath. And I really should have Hydro Pumped. Yeah, because he ends up hitting Psychic. I'm hoping that it's a bait because I really can't win unless it's a bait. And I end up losing, and then this match is pretty much a wrap. There's not really much to see. There's no way I can win with the Steelix and almost fainted down Dusclops against 2 fighters. And then I go and sack my Dusclops, have another shield, but he has 2 shields. And he is going to sack his Poliwrath. Not really a sack, because the Poliwrath has a ton of health left and would do a lot of damage to me. And he's probably just at Power Punch. I do faint it down. And I hit the Crunch, but he has 2 shields left, and he's just going to counter me down. So really, I need to revise my strategy. So what I kind of look at is that Alolan Raichu is really good against this team. It beats Cresselia in most scenarios, and it beats the 2 fighters. I do have to worry about some. Its off is very squishy. It can do a lot of damage to Alolan Marowak, especially since he's running the Fire Spin variant, not the Hex variant. And it can one-shot Drifblim. I just need to get rid of the Steelix. That's like the only thing. My objective is to get rid of Steelix, and then my Alolan Raichu can just run free. So I come in leading with Steelix against his Steelix. We're both running Dragon Tail. And I'm going to hit this Earthquake, hoping he doesn't shield. Steelix versus Steelix matchup is a total guessing game. And it goes through, which is amazing. He comes in with Alolan Marowak. I come in with Alolan Marowak to mirror because my Alolan Marowak has a pretty terrible matchup, a bad matchup against his Steelix, especially with so much energy. He baits me. And I'm hoping to one-shot him with this Shadow Ball. And I think he goes for the Shadow Ball because most people don't want a double shield, but I try to just go whatever the most logical move. But because I have Hex, I'm doing so much damage to his Alolan Marowak since I resist Fire Spin, and then Hex is super effective. So it does a ton of damage to his AWAC. So I am in a pretty good situation. His Steelix has a lot of energy. And I try to go for the Bone Club. And he ends up not Earthquaking me, which allows me to get off the Bone Club. But it's also going to allow him to farm up a little bit. Burning a shield, which is good. Now we're on even shields. And I really debated switching out, but I didn't want to get switch locked. And he Earthquakes me, which is terrible for me. And I'm like, okay, I got to farm down. And I'm like, no matter what, I'm hitting an Earthquake. I was hoping it was going to be Poliwrath, which would have been the better move. It ends up being Cresselia, so I switch out to Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu does have like a pretty good matchup against Cresselia. I think it might lose the no shield matchup if he has Moonblast. But he ends up hitting me with... I think I would just barely survive a Moonblast. He ends up hitting me with Aurora Beam. He must have Aurora Beam Future Sight, or else I don't see another reason why to go Aurora Beam. Even though Future Sight's more energy efficient, he's maybe hoping to get to 2 or something, but he likely doesn't have Moonblast on his Cresselia. Or else he would have went for it. So I take match number 3. And I'm really debating. Again, I need to get rid of the Steelix. I'm going to come in with Dusclops, hoping to catch something in the back. Because like Claydol has he has Aurora Beam, so it's going to hit my Claydol with super effective damage. So Dusclops versus Steelix. It is a winning matchup for Steelix because I don't have Feint Attack on it. But it still puts up a pretty decent fight. Like, it's not such a one-sided matchup. I'm at least going to do a lot of damage, and if I want to burn an extra shield to win the lead, then I can make that choice. But I'm not sure necessarily it's a wise choice for me to gamble so much on the lead. And he comes in with Alolan Marowak, which I don't have a switch in for, so it's actually probably a little bit better that he brought in Alolan Marowak, because, well, you know, anyways, I think I ended up shielding. And maybe I shouldn't have shielded, but it was a tough call. I had the energy already. I'm going to hit it, and then he tries to... I'm not sure what he's trying to do, because I'm able to hit the Shadow Punch, and I think I end up drawing another shield, which is great for me. And he ends up Shadow Ball. He probably could have got away with Bone Club, because it ends up in a situation where my Alolan Raichu can basically get to this Thunder Punch, and he ends up switching out, and I just barely get out of the way and come with Claydol to tank this Crunch, which does a lot of damage. And this is the reason why I don't think I should have shielded the first in the first matchup, the second Crunch, just because I'm end up able to just survive, and I'm like, okay, I need to... He comes with Drifblim, and I'm like, oh, I gotta hit the Earth Power. I could hit Earthquake, do a little bit more damage, but I was really hoping for the defense drop, because at this stage, if there was a defense drop, I could probably finish off his Drifblim with Thunder Punch, but because I didn't get the defense drop, I'm gonna go Wild Charge. So it was just more like strategic on my side, because I think I would have had enough energy almost for two Thunder Punches, more likely, which would allow me to win the match guaranteed, but I ended up winning the match anyways. And we go into this next match. We had like a air, which is why there's like a weird jump there where the game crashed. So we're going back in. I'm leading with Alolan Raichu, hoping to catch something positive, which is basically 4 out of his 6. I ended up catching his Drifblim. This is a positive matchup. I really should just Thunder Punch the entire way, to be honest, just because I can win the 2 shields just Thunder Punching the entire time. But I'm also hoping that he doesn't shield, and he does, protecting his Drifblim. Kind of like going for like the huge home run hit. And he ends up going Ominous Wind, and he switches out, and I'm expecting the switch out to... switching out to Steelix so I don't hit the charge move. And I go Fire Punch. And I need to shield. I really need to win this particular matchup just so I can... but is it worth burning a shield just because his Drifblim has so much energy in the back? Probably not. I end up hitting the Shadow Punch just because his Steelix is pretty low. It's a pretty weak move, but it's just enough to KO. And he comes in with Medicham, and I'm able to hit the Shadow Punch, and then I switch in, and then I hit the Wild Charge, which he doesn't shield, which is great for me, but then we end up freezing, and then I'm like, okay, we're going to have to restart. I think I would have won, because I think I have Steelix in the back, if I recall. And he would have had to like definitely burn some energy. I might have well lost still anyways. So anyways, I tried tap with 3 fingers, hoping that it would unfreeze for whatever reason. Then I realized it was a dumb mistake. So then I come in with we lead the same teams, and I tried to play it the same, but then I got a little greedy, which you'll see a little bit. So if I wanted to win this matchup, then I would have probably Thunder Punched. But we just play it the exact same. So Ominous wins. I end up like farming up a little bit more, I hit the wild charge. Again, going for that home run hit, and I end up missing some bubbles. And I thought I could catch him beforehand and burn the shield, but end up like wild charging his Steelix, which is actually really, really bad for me. And then I know he has Medicham, so I'm not gonna shield this crunch. It's being a crunch, so I'm gonna Earthquake. And then he puts me in this really big dilemma. Do I want to shield, or do I want to give up switch advantage? The correct move on my part probably would have been not to shield, because I figure his Medichamp's going to come in. I probably should have just tried to do double Earthquake, but end up or I should have came in with Dusclops. So, coming in with Dusclops, I think he ends up using Psychic, which is a decent amount. And I really need to Shadow Punch this Driplim, which does go through. And I really tried to get to this Shadow Punch. He ends up using Shadow Ball, which is the correct move, because I probably would have survived an Ominous Win, and I definitely would have burnt his last shield. And I really need to take out his Drifblim, so I go for Crunch, which and then I switched immediately. I tried to switch immediately to Alolan Raichu, and then I burned the last shield, which is probably a mistake. I probably should have just went for Thunder Shocks, to be honest, because it's so close here. Like, if that Thunder Shock damage, one more Thunder Shock might have been enough to allow me to win this matchup. It definitely would have. So, or at least would have been a tie. So that was a mistake on my start, because like there's no. As soon as I did that Thunder Shock, or Thunder Punch, I was like, oh, huge mistake. So he ends up taking that match. So I end up like just going with the same team. I'm like, okay, I know I can. Well, not in the same team. I end up the same team combination. I just, as Battle Hero says, I end up changing the flow because I like this team combination, and I really like Alolan Raichu. In this cup, especially if you can get rid of the Steelix, it just has like really great spamability, and that Wild Charge does a lot of damage to almost anything that doesn't resist it. So it's being a bad matchup for me. So I switch out to Dusclops, and I'm going to build up some energy. Hex doesn't do a lot of damage, so he appropriately farms up because he wants to hit that Psychic later on or Power Up Punch. And I'm not going to burn my energy because I want to win. It would have been nice to Shadow Punch his Medicham, but I really want to hit as many Fire Punches against this Steelix as possible. So I end up shielding because I want to win. I want to control what Pokemon come out. And I think he thinks that this is a bait because he ends up not shielding, which is great for me because my Dusclops has so much health. And I end up getting off the Shadow Punch, and I think he's just barely behind in terms of energy. I think he really should Bone Club. And he does, which doesn't KO me. So I come back in with Steelix. It's not a great matchup against Alolan Marowak, but it's not also terrible. He Shadow Balls me. I know he's going to switch in, so I switch back to Alolan Raichu. And I absorb this Psychic, hoping that it's going to be a Power-Up Punch. And end up going for Thunder Punch, hoping that I'm going to get a shield. And what do I do here? So I think I end up shielding. It ends up being Psychic. and I'm going to build up a little bit additional energy. Then I'm going to Wild Charge to take out his Medicham, and then I really hope that I can land this Thunder Punch against his but it doesn't work. But I'm only one away, and he doesn't have enough energy to land that Shadow Ball, which would have KO'd. If he would have did Bone Club there, it definitely would not have KO'd my my Steelix. So feeling pretty good in this matchup. I think we end up going. He's up 3. I think this is 3-3. Is this 3-3? I can't. I think so. This ends up being our last match. But the game was so glitchy today. So would I go? I think I switch out to Poliwrath because I expect if I win the lead, I at least have like a slightly harder counter. And I like my Alolan Marowak against his Fire Spin one, so I'm hoping to land that matchup. And I end up in a terrible situation. So I switch out to Poliwrath, and my Poliwrath, I haven't shown Hydro Pump this whole time. I think I don't shield. I think it ends up just being a crunch, which it does. And I built up a ton of energy, so I am going to Power Up Punch first, which he's not going to shield. And then I'm like, the only way I can win, landing this Hydro Pump. So I was like, gotta land this Hydro Pump. It does so much damage to his Poliwrath. I'm not gonna shield this Power Up Punch. And even though my Mud Shots are doing almost no damage, I'm just gonna Power Up Punch his Poliwrath. And because he probably wasn't expecting the Hydro Pump, I'm banking that he has not kept track of the counts. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it to Hydro Pump before he tries to Bone Club me. So I'm going to just pretend it's Hydro Pump. He ends up shielding, which is great for me. And now he's trying to farm me down. And he ended up seeing that I stopped, so it's pretty obvious that I'm trying to go for Hydro Pump. I get his second shield, so it's looking pretty good for me. And I come in with a Lone Raichu because I'm so close to that charge move. And he switches out to Steelix. And I'm like, oh, man. And his Steelix that has a little bit of energy. And maybe I would have still lost, but I think it would have been pretty close. Because I could switch out to a Alolan Marowak. I'm up a shield. I can just Shadow Ball for sure, and it's shield whatever move. He might triple crunch me or something like that, but at least I probably would have got off. And I think that's the end of the video. So pretty close. You guys can let me know down in the comment section below who you think would have won. If we rematch, there's almost no chance I win because I landed a Hydro Pump, unshielded Hydro Pump, and a Power Up Punch bait. So very unlikely that I would have won. And it kind of makes sense because he also had the team composition advantage. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video.